Recently, I had a friend, he's an investment advisor, and he sent me an email for one of his podcasts, and the title caught my interest. It said, "Don't trade time for money, get into one of these investments." That piqued my interest because I don't want anyone to have to trade time for money. I think there's a much better way. I was hopeful as I listened to his podcast that he would mention what I'm going to talk about today, and he didn't. He didn't talk about one of the best investments around, especially for single moms that want to stay home. You can't build net worth substantially because you're not earning much money, especially stay-at-home moms. And yet, with this tool that I'm going to teach you today, you could build a really solid nest egg. You can build some cash flow that pay for things for your children, for yourself. Let's get into that. He mentioned the standard one. Own your own real estate. Own your own home to live in. We all want that. It's the American dream. And you hope that as your debt goes down, as you pay off that mortgage, the value goes up. And as that spread between my fingers gets wider, you have more equity, you have more value that someday you might be able to cash out. Obviously, when you own this asset, you're pouring a lot into it. A lot of your time, repairs, maintenance, and painting. That's one of the repairs I don't like the most. Yet it's still a solid investment. Like it is owning real estate that you can sell, rent to. You can sell that space for people on a temporary or a longer basis. A lot of risk involved in that. Not only do you have to pay that mortgage, real estate taxes, insurance, upkeep, but if the tenant leaves, you don't have any income to pay those bills. If you have a prolonged vacancy, it can be devastating. Yet a lot of people have made a lot of substantial net worth with owning this kind of real estate. The more you can own, the better. And yet for the common person, especially the single mom or stay-at-home mom, you don't have any credit because you don't have any income with which to be able to buy a piece of rental property. But it is still a solid investment. And then you have the American dream. It's what people always say, let's get some stocks and bonds. And really what you're doing, you're buying into another entrepreneur's dream and all of his hard work and effort. You're just getting a little piece of it. And as that company grows and it gets more income, net income, after paying all of its bills and taxes, then it can pay a dividend. And you hope, like the stock market historically has always gone up, but obviously there's a bumpy ride there. And then you have building a network of people all bonded together around a common cause, linked arms, common customers, common people. This is the best investment ever, as you'll see why as I get into this. Then there is the part about you need money. You need current cash flow to live on. Obviously, the other investments that I mentioned doesn't provide much of that. Maybe a rental property does. After that equity spread gets bigger, maybe you've paid off some debt, you've lowered the expenses of that unit and the rents continue to rise. But generally, owning any kind of investment doesn't yield you enough cash flow, long-term basis to live on. So you have to work. And the typical one is just to own a job. And I use the word own because you do. You own that space. This is what my friend was talking about. Typically in a job, you're trading your time for money. If you don't have the time to spend for the employer, you don't get paid. That's the downside. According to Robert Kiyosaki, this is one of the riskiest ways to create cash flow. Why? Because you only have one source of income. You get laid off, the company goes under, you decide you're going to quit, no income in. Then you have the American dream, owning your own business. I've owned several of my own brick and mortar businesses in my life. Scary, yet rewarding. But unlike when I was an employee and only had to give my employer 40 hours a week, as an entrepreneur owning my own business, it's like 60 hours a week. And I took on all the risk. Whatever that risk was, especially risk of employees making a mistake, and I had to eat it by going back to my customers and soothing it over, making it right, where the employee had zero risk. He only risked me terminating him. But American dream is to own your own business, and yet you talk to most small business owners and they'll tell you, if they're honest, that that business owns them. Very few entrepreneurs are able to sell that business as their exit strategy. And it's a substantial part of their net worth. But if you can't sell that business, most entrepreneurs shut their doors, sign off, terminate employees, and they're done. And they've had to then take all their excess earnings throughout the years and invest it. And then you have big business. Own a big business. This is where you finally get the concept of leverage. Let's use Jeff Bezos at Amazon for a moment. He's got all these regional distribution centers. If Jeff Bezos decides that we need another distribution center, he doesn't have to go do that. He's got people he has hired to do that. That distribution center is built. He staffs it with a whole bunch of people. He didn't have to lift one finger to get it done. This is true leverage. Everyone wants the benefits of what a big business can provide, and that is leverage, to where you really have time freedom. Jeff Bezos, in this case, he'd be putting out in the 18th green in Kauai, having cocktails with his wife afterward, and that Amazon continues to sell. If you bought on Amazon, even if it's like a $20 purchase, Jeff Bezos is getting a little of that. And I understand that, I think it's some crazy number, like 40% of all retail sales in the United States is Amazon. 40%. That is the ultimate big business and leverage. And then you go back, building a network. It's true leverage. As that network grows, and these common people sharing a common bond generally around a product or service, and as these people consume that product or service, and you're at the top of this little ladder, this little tree, serving all these people, every time they order, you get paid. That's true leverage. And for the common person that can't invest, that needs to stay home, this is the absolute best way to build cash flow and net worth. In my public seminars, where I'm discussing this concept with others, I'll ask the audience to name the things that they want in their perfect job, their perfect opportunity. And inevitably, the first things I write on the dry erase board are the things they don't want. They don't want a boss. Can you relate to that? They don't want to commute. In those big cities, and we're getting that away here in Las Vegas, if I worked on the other side of town in the early morning rush hour traffic, it would take me 45 minutes each way. That's an hour and a half in my car every day, just driving. The people I ask, no commute. How about this? No alarm clock. How many times that alarm clock got off and you got to get to work and you're still tired, cranky, you just want to sleep another 30, 40 minutes, but you can't. Because if you didn't get into work, your employer would probably cut you off. So no alarm clock. And then anybody that's owned a small business, or you've worked in a facility that has a lot of employees, you don't want any employees. While I've had some great employees over the years, I've had some others that cost me a lot, that were like a cancer inside my organization. When I was a CPA, we had a firm of about 40 employees, and I had a chunk of those that worked underneath me in the tax department. It seemed like 20% of my time was dealing with all their little issues, training, fixing their mistakes. When they had to whine about life, I was there to listen to them. So no one wants employees in them. No one wants office politics. You know what I mean. If you've been in any office, even if it's a small 2, 3, 4 employee firm, there's politics. You don't want any of that. And then the big one, especially if you're a single mom or a stay-at-home mom, you don't want to compromise. Or if you're a mom and you're working, you don't want to compromise anything in your life. If you have a sick child, you don't want to compromise and not be able to stay with that sick child while you go off to work. You want to be able to stay with that child, yet you're compromising income. The best opportunity you want, no compromises. And how about this one? No discrimination. Obviously, the biggest one that everyone talks about is racial discrimination. You don't want to be passed over for a promotion or to get into an area in a business that you want because of the color of your skin. That is the worst. But there are other forms of discrimination in a business. Seniority, for an example. You might have been there only 3, 4 years, and yet you're really great. And somebody's been there 3 or 4 years longer than you, and they're not as good as you, and they get to promotion. That's the ultimate discrimination. And then you have the one that galls me, and I've seen this. Brown nose Bob discrimination. Brown nose Bob, he just plays golf with the boss. He gives the boss fancy gifts, cigars during Christmas. And brown nose Bob over you, he gets the raise because the boss likes him better. Ultimate slap in the face. And then finally they mention, I don't have to have an education. You don't want to have to go to 4-year or more degree to get some letters behind your name just to get employment. You want a perfect job there's no education requirement. How do you build a network? Here we have it, linked arms. Let me give you a thumbnail sketch of how you build a network. And here's Billy. Billy's a single mom, 2 kids, youngest child 1 year old. Billy works a 40-hour-a-week job, and she's got an 1.5-hour day commute. She's away from her children 10 hours a day, and her little 1-year-old is being raised by somebody in a daycare center. Billy also, she's tanked on some weight. The stress of a failed marriage, she numbed that with food. She's gained like 40 extra pounds, and she's tired all the time. Being a mom, she's poured herself into her kids. She doesn't have a life for herself. Billy heard of building a network. Billy understands to build a network, you have to add more value to people than what they're paying you for. That's a key consideration. Obviously, you've bought some things before that you said, wow, this is outstanding value. I got way more out of it than what I paid. Same way in building a network. You have to have a product or service that does that. Number 2, you have to serve others, customer serve people. People don't always get their product or service, and you have to help them through the tough time. Billy's case during the weight loss phase, we had to work with her a lot because she just didn't quite get it. We held her hand, and yet Billy had some great results. She lost over 38 pounds in about 4 months. Billy loved how she felt, but we had to help her to get there. You have to provide solutions for people, not only in the product or service, but in just being their friend and supporting them and listening to them. And then finally, to build a network, you have to train and teach others how to do the exact same thing, how to build a network. Because building a network down below is all about duplication. Once you learn the skill set of duplication and this starts growing, your asset in this network grows. Let's look at an example. Billy got on the product, had phenomenal energy results. As she starts to now hear about this could be her ticket to be able to earn money at home so that she can raise that 1-year-old and her 4-year-old without having to send them to daycare. Billy's excited. Billy then gets her mom. Her mom had been recently saying to Billy, I'm tired all the time. Billy said, Mom, you got to try this product. It's great. Mom says, okay, honey. Billy's mom gets in. Billy's close to her brother, and her brother wanted better performance. Been working out at the gym. He wants to look better for his girlfriend. His brother doesn't like his job, and he's going to school full time. Billy taught her brother about building the network to where he didn't need an education. And he was whole sick of the school thing. He joined. Billy then taught her mom and her brother how to build a network. So Billy's mom, who's gorgeous, is friends with so many of the neighborhood ladies. And her mom just goes across the street and starts talking to her neighbors. Her mom, armed with understanding how to build a network and what the product does, or service if this is your thing, they join. Wow, Billy's mom, I want what you have. I see what Billy has done. Yeah, let me lock arms with you and do this together. Billy's brother, been working out at the gym, and he knows a lady there that he had went to school with. And she mentioned that she wanted a little better performance in her workouts. Her brother just listened to that and offered a solution. And then Billy got his girlfriend to join. She wanted to lock arms. She loved the family. She knew that someday they'd probably get married. That is how a network is built. Billy started out with 0 sources of income. In a short order of time, she's got now 6 sources of income, because every time any of the 6 people in that network below her orders product, cha-ching, Billy gets paid. And that network can grow because Billy's mom's neighbors, they were taught how to build a network, and then they add some people. And then the fitness person adds some people. Billy's brother's girlfriend adds some people, and they continue. Her mom continues to. So the network keeps growing. Billy keeps adding people. And in time, that thing is really worth some money. And the beauty of this is you can build a small network earning $300-400 a month, enough to pay for product, or you can build a big network like I have with over 15,000 people. I don't know who they all are, but every time they order, that commission just floats up to me, and I get paid every Monday. I haven't missed in over 14 years. You want to build a network of a product that's highly consumable. As an example, there's a network company that sells kitchen supplies. And I bought this awesome pineapple slicer that took the outside and cored the middle out with one slice. I paid for that 7 years ago. I've been consuming that one product for 7 years, and it's still good. You buy knives, you buy some kitchen stuff, not highly consumable, versus I have shown you some picture of food. Food's highly consumable. You have to order it every 30 days. The best network building companies are a product that's highly consumable because everyone is ordering constantly. They're constantly getting reinforced. Like in my case, they eat this superfood and they feel better. There's a direct link from eating the product to how they feel. And then you want to be able to visually show your prospects the results of using the product. In our particular case, we're big on weight loss. We have the best before and after pictures in the world, actually. There's other companies that steal our pictures and post them. This is social proof that it works. You want to build a network with a product that has social proof, and then you want to partner with a company that's not a startup. 9 out of 10 startup companies in the first year fail. Can you imagine Billy building this network? It's starting to be operational. She's got all these loyal people, and the network she's in fails. The company went bankrupt. No more product, no more service. Billy loves the concept, so she starts all over again. She drills down to all those people that said yes to her. Now they're saying, Billy, nah, I can't take the risk of it failing. This is why you want to partner with a company that's been in business a while. And the opportunity that I have access to for you, it's $1 billion company, over $8 billion in revenue, 14 years old, close to $1 billion a year in worldwide revenue. That's building a network. Why do people do this? Like for Billy, time freedom. She just wanted time with her children. She wanted to pour herself into her children like her mom. Her mom was a single mom, poured into Billy. Billy recognized the importance of that. She didn't want to have like a latchkey family to where Billy's career meant more than her family did. And that's okay. However, it wasn't for Billy. She wanted to spend time with her kids. So time freedom, no risk. You want an opportunity that there's no financial risk, meaning if it fails, the product that you put in your body or whatever you're consuming, if it fails in the first 30 days, you get a complete money back guarantee. You are out $0. And there's no startup cost. When I was an investment advisor, I had over $150,000 in technology in my office. I had over $60,000 to $80,000 in furniture. I had $200,000 or $300,000 tied up in this business. If it failed, all that was gone. You don't want any risk in this business. You want a business that's recession-proof. What do I mean by that? Like in food, even in a recession, or recently the COVID, where there was a lot of unemployment, people still had to eat. In my company, I've had some of my best weeks in over 14 years during the COVID lockdown. You want a recession-proof business. When I was an investment advisor in the 2009 economy, I lost 90% of my retirement nest egg and 75% of my income. That spurred me on to building a network. That's a key consideration, recession-proof. You want to do a business with friends. Out of that 15,000 people, I have met some of my best friends, and they're all over the country, and we get together. They come to Las Vegas. I go visit them. We just have a fun together. And who doesn't want to have fun with a spouse or a significant other or a partner where it is fun? You love doing things together. And how about giving a contribution back? Because now you have the time, and as that network grows, you'll have the money to be able to give to things that mean a lot to you. Talking about meaning, you want something meaningful in your life. I show a picture of an older couple. They retired years ago and felt they had so much more to give, especially the young generation. They started building a network almost exclusively of retirees and young people. These young people got the benefit of their years of wisdom. For them, that was meaningful. And finally, who doesn't like income tax advantages? When you're an employee, there are no advantages. And you've heard businesses get all the tax break. That's true. But when you own your network, when Billy started with just her mom and her brother, she qualified to write off almost everything because she's in a trader business. Let's look at an example. Cranking out your tax return, you want the biggest refund, right? Do any of you have a cell phone bill or internet bill? If you're an employee, you're not writing that off. How about dinners out with friends, entertainment? How about even eating lunch on your own? Or you had to work late at night and you had to go get a dinner. Wouldn't you like to tax deduct that? Wouldn't you like the federal government to subsidize that for you? You can do that if you're building a network. How about doing stuff with friends that are fun? Going for a buggy ride, maybe even in your own hometown doing things that are fun. Or traveling away and doing it. How about a trip to Disneyland with a bunch of your friends who are all building a network together? Tax deductible. You own a car? Did you put gas in it? Do you have repairs, maintenance, car insurance? Yes. You're an employee, you're not tax deducting it. You're building a network, tax deductible. And then the best, I save the best to last, a vacation. Any of you go on a vacation? Wouldn't you like to tax deduct that when you're building a network and you recruiting people in your network during your vacation? How about a waiter or someone at the hotel you're at? You meet them on the beach, you're playing golf or tennis, or you're out dancing. You're meeting new people, building your network. That's what makes vacations tax deductible. Let's look at an example here. And before I get in this example, yes, I was a former top CPA in Las Vegas, specialized in income tax, but I'm not licensed anymore, and I'm not giving you tax advice here. Only a licensed professional can give you tax advice. What I'm showing you now is meant to be for illustration purposes only. Only a licensed professional who knows your situation can render any tax advice to you. But what I told you on the last screen is true. Here's a situation you see highlighted in yellow, various annual costs of some of those things I mentioned. Mobile phone, internet access, meals out, $3,000, great 1 week vacation during the year. Let's say that equaled $9,000. The average income in the United States per person is $63,000. That puts you in the 22% tax bracket. And I've just got tax brackets all across the spectrum there, from an average mean of 20 all the way up to 37, the average being, or the mean being 22. If you're in the 22% tax bracket and you have those costs that I've got highlighted in yellow, you're saving $1,600 a year. I've had people that looked at this who were fearful. I don't think I have enough money to start, Mike, with you. I show them this and they go, sign me up. The government, through giving you more tax deductions, bigger refund, can pay for your investment in your company. I love building networks. As an investment advisor on the tail end of my career before I sold out. Why did I sell out? I had a great investment advisor firm. I wanted time freedom. And it took me about 3.5 years of building that network before the network's income that flowed to me monthly exceeded what I was earning as an investment advisor. The thing is, as an investment advisor, I was spending 40 to 60 hours a week, especially during tax season, working. I only worked 7 to 12 hours a week building my network. And when I sold my firm, I just freed up 40 hours plus a week to develop or devote to my own goals, my own passions. Get back to the person that invited you to watch this. Consider building a network. Take care.